Alright, what's going on guys, and welcome back to the Bit of Footy YouTube channel. In today's video we're going to be running through my round 20 AFL tips, as well as having a look at how I did back in round 19. So let's do that first off. Alright, taking a look at how I did back in round 19, I got a total of, well, 9 out of 9 tips. There you go. It's been a while since I've got 9 out of 9. In fact, it may be my first time this year getting 9 out of 9 tips. I'm not too sure about that. But yeah, it was a pretty good round for myself. I'm sure a few other people got 9 out of 9 as well. I don't really have to tell you what I got incorrect and correct, because I got all of them correct last round. But we'll just have a look at all the games and all the tips that I got right. Here we go. Jesus, that Collingwood game was insane. I was so lucky to be at it live as well. What a win from my Pies. But yeah, there you go. Those are all the tips that I got correct in round 19. Having a look at where that leaves me in my own tipping comp, that leaves me in 18th spot on a total of 108 points. The leader is ESPN fan 7090372 who's on a total of 119 points and got a total of 9 out of 9 tips last round as well. Let's just take a look at the whole leaderboard as well. Yeah, there we go. We've got a total of how many participants? 38 participants in the tipping comp. But yeah, so there we go. That's how my tipping comp looks at the moment. But without further ado, let's take a look at my round 20 AFL tips. Alright, kicking off round 20, we've got the big Friday night game between my Pies and the Blues. My Pies are coming off that thrilling 2-point win against Port Adelaide in Adelaide last round, while the Blues are coming off a pretty big win over the Eagles last round. This is going to be a very entertaining game. I'll be there live supporting my Pies. Come on, the Pies. I do think it's going to be a very close contest. I do think it's going to be a very tightly contested game as well. Both teams are coming into this game off the back of some very good form, but I'm going to be backing in my Pies to get the job done over the Blues. Yeah, I just feel like we're playing some very good footy at the moment. But, you know, the Blues are playing some very good footy as well. But, yeah, I just feel like we're just going to be a little bit stronger than the Blues tonight and get the job done. I do think it's going to be a very close game, though. So I've backed in my Pies to get the job done by a margin of 14 points over the Blues at the MCG. Next up, we've got the first Saturday afternoon game. This one is between Geelong and Fremantle at GMHBA Stadium. The Cats are coming off that 11-point loss against the Lions, while the Dockers are coming off their 4th straight loss in a row. Looking at it on the form table, last round they lost to the Swans. I'm going to be backing in the Cats to beat the Dockers in this game. I know the Dockers beat the Cats earlier on in the season at Optus Stadium, but this is at the Cattery, a very different ground to Optus Stadium, a ground that the Cats play very well at, considering it is their home ground, obviously. But yeah, I'm backing in the Cats at the Cattery to get the job done over the Dockers. I have seen the Dockers be able to beat the Cats at the Cattery before, but I don't think it's going to happen this time. So I'm backing in the Cats at the Cattery to get the job done over the Dockers. Next up, we've got the Dogs taking on the Giants at Mars Stadium. The Dogs are coming off a pretty good win over the Bombers last round, while the Giants are coming off a 40-point win over the Suns last round. The Giants are coming into this game off the back of some very good form. In fact, they've won, I think it's like 5 or 6 games in a row, or it could be even more at this point. So they're coming into this game off the back of some very good form, but I'm still going to be backing in the Dogs to get the job done in this game. It is at Mars Stadium in Ballarat, so I do think the Dogs, will get the advantage in, that sort of aspect, that they've, you know, played a lot more games than the Giants have at Mars Stadium. But yeah, so I'm going to be backing in the Dogs to get the job done in this game. I do think it's going to be a very good competitive game of footy. You know, the Giants, like I said, are coming into this game off some very good form, and they've actually won, you know, a few games in a row coming into this game, where the Dogs have been sort of up and down coming into this game. But I'm still backing in the Dogs to get the job done over the Giants in this game. But you know, I could see it going either way. These two normally, you know, play good games of footy against each other. But yeah, I'm backing in the Dogs to get over the Giants in this one. Next up, we've got the Swans taking on the Lions at Heritage Bank Stadium. The Swans are coming off that 40-point loss over, against the Giants. Well, the Lions are coming off that 11-point win against the Cats. The Lions are coming into this game with the better form. They've won 4 of their past 5 games, coming into this game, with the one loss that they've had in those last 5 games being that 1-point loss against the D's, where they really should have won. They really should have won that game, but they couldn't hold on and they let the D's back into that game. And the Suns, they've been a bit up and down coming into this game. They lost to the Giants last round and they beat the Saints the round before that. So yeah, they're coming off a bit of, you know, bumpy form coming into this one. So yeah, I'm going to be backing in the Lions to get the job done in this game. I do think the Lions just have the stronger squad than the Suns do. I do hope the Suns make this game competitive. You know, it is the Q clash and all of that. Yeah, I do think the Lions will be a little bit too good for the Suns in this game and get the job done on the field, even though they got defeated in the Twitter realm. Next up, we've got the Bombers taking on the Swans at Marvel Stadium. The Bombers are coming off that 41-point loss against the Dogs, while the Swans are coming off a pretty good win against the Dockers. I know that coming into this game, the Swans look the better side and they, you know, sort of have the better form coming into this game. But at Marvel Stadium, I reckon the Bombers can get the job done. I know it's weird to say, and I know, you know, the Bombers have a few outs being Stringer and Ridley, but I do think the Bombers can, strangely enough, get the job done in this game. It is at Marvel Stadium, a ground which they play very well at. I just have a feeling the Bombers are going to get the job done. I do think it's going to be a very close game, and I can see it going either way. And I just genuinely feel like whoever gets the job done in this game will win it by a single-figure margin. But yeah, I just feel like at Marvel Stadium, the Bombers are going to come out firing. They're going to be disappointed with their last 2 games that they've lost, and yeah, they're going to come out firing in this game and get the job done over the Swans. The Swans in Melbourne have been a bit hit and miss this year. So yeah, I'm going to be backing in the Bombers to get the job done over the Swans in this game. But like I said, I can see it going either way. This is a very tough game to tip. But yeah, I'm backing in the Bombers at Marvel Stadium to get the job done over the Swans. And the last Saturday game that we have is the showdown. It is the showdown. I cannot wait to watch this game live between the Crows and the Power at the Adelaide Oval. The Crows are coming off that devastating loss against the D's last round, where the Power are also coming off a pretty, devastating loss last round as well against my Pies. Geez, this is going to be a great game to watch. I cannot wait to watch this game. It's going to be a spectacle, that's for sure. But I am going to be backing in Port Adelaide to get the job done over the Crows in this game and get back on the winners list. I know that they've lost 2 games in a row now, Port Adelaide, but I think they're just too good to lose 3 games in a row. You know, the way that they've been playing this season. I do think it's going to be a very close game. It is a showdown, of course, so I do think it's going to be a very close game. It's going to be a very competitive game as well. You know, both teams are coming into this game off the back of some, you know, pretty close margin losses as well. So yeah, it's going to be a very intense game, but I'm going to be backing in Port Adelaide to get the job done over the Crows in the showdown. Next up, we've got Hawthorn taking on St Kilda at Marvel Stadium to kick off the Sunday schedule of games. The Hawks are coming off that devastating 1-point loss against the Tigers, where they really should have won that game. They're up by a decent margin, Hawthorn, in that game, while the Saints are coming off an 8-point win over North Melbourne. It was actually the opposite for the Saints than it was for the Hawks. The Saints were down at three-quarter time by a margin, and they actually came back and won that game, St Kilda against North Melbourne. I do think this is a very tough game to tip, because the last time these two teams met, it was the Hawks that got the job done over St Kilda. And to be quite frank with you, I think Hawthorn, the last two games compared to the Saints, I know that the Saints beat North Melbourne last round, but I feel like the last two games that Hawthorn have played are over the last two games that the Saints have played. I feel like Hawthorn have played a little bit better than the Saints. So yeah, coming into this game, I know that Hawthorn are coming off a loss and the Saints are coming off a win, but I still feel like the Hawks can just magically get the job done over the Saints in this game. I do feel like the last two games Hawthorn have been, well, not impressive, but they've been, you know, improving and playing some, you know, decent footy, some okay footy. Well, the Saints, they haven't been to their best, but they're still in the top 8, St Kilda. But in saying that though, I am gonna be tipping Hawthorn. I know, Hawthorn to get the job done over St Kilda in this game. I do think it's going to be a very tight game. You know, both of these teams, they haven't been playing, you know, the best this season. I know that the Saints, you know, they're in the top 8, so they've been playing a little bit better than the Hawks for the whole of this season, but I think at this current moment, I think Hawthorn, off the back of their last two games, have been playing a little bit better than the Saints. I know I've already said that, but I do think it's true. So yeah, I'm going to be backing in Hawthorn to get the job done over St Kilda at Marvel Stadium. I know the Saints, you know, they play decent at Marvel Stadium, but I do think Hawthorn are going to be a little bit, well, not a little bit too good, but I do think Hawthorn are going to be able to get the Chockies over St Kilda in this game. But, you know, I do think it's going to be a very close one. It's a tough game to tip, but yeah, I'm backing in the Hawks over the Saints in this one. Next up, we've got Richmond taking on Melbourne at the MCG. The Tigers are coming off that 1-point win over Hawthorn last round. I don't know how they came back in that game, but they did. And the D's are coming off that thrilling 4-point win over the Crows last round. The D's have had a few close calls the last few rounds, but they've managed to get the job done. But the Tigers, they had a very, very close call last round. They were down by 5 goals at one stage against Hawthorn, and they managed to get up and get the job done over the Hawks in that game, thankfully for my tip as well. But yeah, I'm going to be backing in Melbourne to get the job done over Richmond in this game. I do think the Tigers are going to be very competitive in this game. You know, they're coming into this game, well, their last 5 games, they've actually won 4 games and they've lost only 1. That's their last 5 games, Richmond. So they're coming into this game, the Tigers, with a little bit of good form. But the D's, they've won their last 3 games in a row. So they're also coming off some good form as well coming into this game. But yeah, I just feel like, you know, the D's, they're playing a little bit better than the Tigers at the moment. They sort of have been all season. But, you know, if the Tigers can bring the pressure that they have been bringing the last few weeks, you never know. They could get the job done over the D's in this one. but I just feel like the D's will be a little bit too good for the Tigers in this game. So I'm backing in Melbourne over Richmond in this one. And here we go, the last game of the round. It is the Eagles taking on North Melbourne at Optus Stadium. The Eagles are coming off that loss against Carlton, while the Roos are coming off an 8-point loss against St Kilda. I do think, North Melbourne, they were very competitive in that loss against St Kilda. They only lost by 8 points and lost by 8 points. And, at three-quarter time, they were actually up and they were winning. So they had a good chance to win that game, North Melbourne, but they couldn't get the job done in that one. But I am going to back in North Melbourne to get the job done over the Eagles in this game. It should be a very good game to watch. It should be a very close and competitive game to watch. I mean, both teams will want to, get a win in this game, because it's a very good chance for either team to get a win in this game. But yeah, I'm going to be backing in North Melbourne to get the job done in this one. I just feel like, their squad is a little bit stronger than the Eagles. And, LDU, if he plays like he did last game, he was just an absolute star last game. So if he can play like he did last game against St Kilda, LDU, he could, go a long way to getting North Melbourne over the line in this game. But yeah, I do think North Melbourne are going to get the job done over the Eagles in this one. So I'm backing in North Melbourne over West Coast in this game. And there we go, ladies and gentlemen. Those are my round 20 tips done and dusted. Leave your round 20 tips in the comments below. Compare them to mine. And hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in another video soon. Cheers.